Most Australians think turning 60 means freedom. Your super becomes available, the hard years are behind you, and finally, life gets easier. But what if I told you that for thousands of Australians, turning 60 becomes the moment they accidentally make one of the biggest financial mistakes of their lives? A mistake that quietly costs them tens of thousands of dollars over retirement. Because what really happens to your super at 60 is not what most people expect. And by the time they realize it, it's already too late. If you're approaching 60, already there, or planning for retirement one day, this could completely change how you think about your money. Welcome back to Move Smart AUS. Today we're talking about something most Australians never fully understand until retirement is right in front of them. What really happens to your super at 60, and why some people end up worse off even though they thought they did everything right. Because super doesn't magically become free money. The decisions you make after 60 can quietly shape the next 20 or 30 years of your life. For decades, super feels simple. You work, your employer contributes, your balance grows, and you barely think about it. Then suddenly, you turn 60 and everything changes. At this age, many Australians gain access to options they never had before. They can withdraw money, convert balances, start income streams, or change investments. This is exactly where confusion begins. People assume access means action, but access doesn't always mean it's the smartest time to move. One of the biggest misunderstandings is believing that once you hit 60, you should immediately take your super out. It sounds logical because you've waited your whole working life, so why not enjoy it? But this decision can trigger consequences people never expect. Imagine someone turning 60 with a healthy super balance. They withdraw a large amount, pay off debts, help family, upgrade the house, or buy a new vehicle. For a few months, it feels amazing. Then reality appears. Their super is no longer invested the same way, future growth slows, retirement income changes, and years later they realize something painful: that money could have worked harder if it had been structured more carefully. Another shock for Australians at 60 is that super doesn't suddenly remove financial risk. Many people think reaching retirement age means they are safe now, but longevity is changing everything. Australians are spending more years in retirement than previous generations. You're not planning for 5 years anymore. You may need income for 25 or even 30 years. That changes the entire equation. Taking too much too early creates pressure later. Many people also underestimate inflation. Today's comfortable lifestyle may cost significantly more in 10 years. Everyday expenses like groceries, electricity, insurance, travel, and household costs continue changing over time. If your super stops growing because you become too conservative too early, your future self may feel the impact much more than expected. Then there's something almost nobody talks about: psychology. At 60, emotions become powerful. After decades of working, people want to reward themselves. They feel urgency and start thinking they're getting older. That emotional pressure can lead to rushed decisions such as large withdrawals, expensive purchases, helping adult children too much, or giving financial support without fully understanding the long-term impact. Years later, regret often appears quietly, not because helping family was wrong, but because nobody properly calculated the future consequences. Another mistake is failing to review how super is invested. People spend hours comparing phones, cars, and subscriptions, but rarely check the investments holding their retirement future. At 60, your investment strategy matters more than ever. Too aggressive can mean higher volatility. Too defensive can reduce long-term growth. Finding balance becomes incredibly important, yet many people leave old settings untouched for years. Retirement itself also costs more than people expect. Most people budget for holidays, but forget health costs, home maintenance, unexpected repairs, family support, and lifestyle adjustments. Retirement is not one long vacation. It's a financial stage that still requires planning and decisions. And here's the part that surprises many Australians. Your super decisions don't exist alone. They interact with income, savings, government support, timing, and lifestyle choices. One decision affects another. That's why copying what friends did can become expensive. Your neighbor withdrew their super, that doesn't mean you should. Your coworker retired immediately at 60, that doesn't mean it fits your situation. Retirement is personal, not social. Another mistake is treating super like a finish line. Retirement planning doesn't stop at 60. In many ways, that's where real planning begins. Important questions appear. How much income do I actually need? How long should this money last? What happens if markets fall? What lifestyle am I protecting? The people who retire with confidence are rarely the ones with the biggest balances. They are usually the people who understand their money, review regularly, adjust carefully, and stay patient. Because wealth isn't only about accumulation, it's about sustainability. So what really happens to your super at 60? You gain opportunity, flexibility, and access, but you also gain responsibility. If you assume turning 60 automatically solves retirement, that assumption can become expensive. The people who do best are not the fastest to withdraw or the most optimistic. They're the ones who slow down and make intentional decisions. Your future lifestyle depends less on the number you see today and more on the choices you make after reaching it. If this video changed how you think about retirement, subscribe to Move Smart AUS and tell us in the comments what's the biggest thing people misunderstand about super after 60. Because one conversation today could protect years of financial stress tomorrow. See you in the next one.